Hi, Chris here with E3 to bring you our next topic in our Keeping It Legit course. In today's class, we'll focus on copyright and give a brief description of what copyright is and how it can relate to your website. Let's start by taking a look at what copyright actually means. Copyright is a right recognized here in the United States and in some foreign jurisdictions that creates an exclusive legal right and an original expression for its creator. The expression can take the form of a writing, image, video, or audio clip. This right attaches as soon as the work is fixed in a tangible medium, such as paper, a canvas, or even computer memory. Only the expression of an idea can be copyrighted, not the idea itself. When I say expression, I'm referring to the presentation of the information, such as the words chosen to convey the idea. There's nothing to prevent another person from reusing the idea presented in the copyrighted work as long as they choose to do so in their own words. Copyright is meant to encourage creativity by providing protection to the creator of a work so that they may charge for its future use. The theory behind this temporary monopoly is that it allows the author to attempt to recover any costs associated with the creation of their work by exercising exclusive rights over how much their work will cost. Copyright is usually established in the person that created the work, but this right can be assigned to other individuals. This right doesn't last forever, and in most cases will last for the life of the author, plus an additional 70 years. Although it is not necessary for copyright protection to attach, a person can register their work with the Copyright Office for a stronger presumption of protection. Additionally, a work does not need to display the traditional encircled C to denote copyright protection, although this mark gives the viewers of your work fair warning that you fully intend to protect your exclusive rights if they are violated. So why is copyright important to a website owner? There are at least two good answers to that question. The first answer involves your rights to the material you post on your website. Any content you create and display on your website will enjoy the advantage of copyright protection. This means other individuals won't be able to replicate the content found on your website without your permission. The second answer is related to the copyright of others. You'll have to be careful when selecting images, video, or sound for your website in respect to the copyright of others. If you're not careful, you can find yourself on the wrong end of a lawsuit. I've mentioned that copyright includes a set of exclusive rights, but what exactly are these rights? Copyright gives an author 6 basic rights to their expression: the right to reproduce the work, the right to create derivative works using the original expression, the right to distribute copies of the work, the right to publicly perform the work, the right to publicly display the work, and the right to digitally transmit the work to others. If another person wished to do any of these 6 things with a copyrighted work, they would require the permission of the original owner or risk violating the rights of the owner and open themselves up to potential civil and criminal liability. There are certain instances in which use of a copyrighted work without the author's permission will not result in copyright infringement. There are also common misconceptions about when this occurs. The legitimate use of copyrighted material without permission is usually encompassed in the doctrine known as fair use. This doctrine provides certain circumstances where the use of a copyrighted work is considered fair and does not result in copyright infringement. Under the fair use doctrine, a person can utilize a copyrighted work if it is being used for the purpose of commentary or criticism of the work, parody of the copyrighted work, news reporting of the copyrighted work, or for the purpose of teaching, scholarship, or research. If an accused party can prove that the use of the copyrighted material was only used in furtherance of one of these purposes, they may be able to avoid possible civil and criminal liability. In addition to the purposes listed under the fair use doctrine, there are also 4 factors that are usually considered in determining whether the use of the copyrighted work is fair: any commercial versus educational purpose behind using the material, the nature of the copyrighted work, the amount and substantiality of the work used, and the effect on the market for the value of the copyrighted work. There are no guarantees that a use will be determined to be fair, so the best policy is to obtain permission from the owner of the work before using it. Otherwise, you risk being found in violation of the rights of the original copyright owner. Not all works retain the full amount of rights granted under the copyright laws. Some authors only retain certain rights in their work, so others can use their work more freely. Creative Commons is one place on the web that allows users to define which rights they'd like to reserve for their works. They do this by offering a variety of licenses that an author can choose from that describe exactly how their content can be used and by whom. You can read more about Creative Commons licenses at creativecommons.org. You won't find any works of authorship at their site, but the site does have a search page that will allow you to search other sites that utilize the Creative Commons licenses. Among these sites are Google, YouTube, and Flickr. Not all the works found on these pages will have Creative Commons licenses, so be sure that the media you select is available under a Creative Commons license that permits your intended use before using it. I've already mentioned that copyright only lasts for the life of the author plus 70 years, but what happens to the work after that time period expires? The work then enters the public domain, where it ceases to have copyright protection. The duration of copyright protection is meant to act as an incentive by giving the creator of a work a monopoly over its distribution. However, at some point, the general consensus is that the creator has derived a benefit worth his original effort and the work should be released to the public. Once it reaches the public domain, the work can be utilized for whatever purpose a person sees fit. This helps to promote the free exchange of ideas and concepts that can be built upon by others who previously may not have had access to the information because of cost or accessibility. There are many misconceptions about copyright, especially when it comes to the fair use doctrine and understanding the public domain. For instance, just because certain media is posted on the internet does not mean it is in the public domain. Anything posted on the web retains the rights the author intends for the work to retain. Another popular misconception is that you can use a copyrighted work as long as you give credit to the author. This situation, without the existence of another valid fair use, may result in copyright infringement. Likewise, the absence of profit in connection with the use of the work without more may result in copyright infringement as well. There is also a false belief that a person can violate the copyright of another until that person objects, and as long as the infringer stops his infringing acts, there will be no further action from the owner. While this may be the practical reality of copyright enforcement, it is not how the law operates. The copyright infringement happens the moment a person violates one of the 6 exclusive rights granted to the owner. It does not require the owner to notify the infringer that he intends to enforce his rights if the infringer doesn't cease immediately. This means that even if you complied with a copyright takedown request, you could still be liable criminally and civilly. Before we wrap up, let's review what was covered today. Copyright creates exclusive rights in its owner that attach the moment the expression is set in a tangible medium. This protection usually lasts for the life of the author plus 70 years and attaches even if a person chooses not to register their copyright. Copyrighted work can still be used by others if the user has the permission of the author. It can also be used in instances where the work falls under the doctrine of fair use. Once the copyright on a work runs its course, the work reverts to the public domain, where it is accessible to anyone who wishes to use it. If you are unsure of the rights reserved in a given work, you can always err on the side of caution and ask for the owner's permission. That's it for today's class. Thanks for watching and check back soon for our next class on copyright.